At companies like Netflix, the pressure to perform is relentless, and the corporate culture can be as intense as it is innovative. What seems like a dream job from the outside can turn into a high-stakes balancing act, where job security is scarce, expectations are high, and the margin for error is slim. Nowhere is this contrast more evident than at Netflix. At Netflix, being part of the dream team means being on top of your game, constantly. Unlike traditional workplaces that cultivate a family feel, Netflix treats its employees as elite athletes, hired to perform at peak levels every single day, with no room for off days. In a company that views itself as a meritocracy, high performers are celebrated and given great autonomy, but the price of any misstep is severe. Beneath the surface of empowerment, a cutthroat atmosphere looms, fueled by a corporate culture that prides itself on pushing boundaries and demanding unflinching excellence. At the heart of Netflix's philosophy is the infamous keeper test. Managers regularly ask themselves, would I fight to keep this employee? If the answer is no, it's often the end of the line for that team member. This test is designed to foster a culture of top-tier talent, but many employees describe it as fostering an environment of chronic stress and perpetual uncertainty. One former employee shared, "You walk into work not knowing if today is the day you'll be asked to leave. It's like living on a tightrope, constantly balancing to avoid falling off." Surviving in this radical candor environment is no easy feat. Employees are not only expected to excel in their roles, but to embrace unfiltered feedback, even if it's ruthless. This brutal honesty, Netflix argues, pushes individuals to improve, yet the practice has its dark side. Netflix's open 360-degree feedback process is as transparent as it is intense. Unlike typical performance reviews, this approach makes every mistake or shortcoming public, turning feedback sessions into what many employees describe as public trials. Instead of private critiques, colleagues openly assess each other, amplifying every flaw and scrutinizing each setback. For some, it feels like a constant audition, where one misstep can shape a peer's perception and ultimately one's job security. This relentless exposure creates a culture where trust is fragile and camaraderie scarce. Employees, wary of judgment, focus on self-preservation over teamwork, and alliances can be fleeting. While some thrive on the fast-paced growth it offers, for many the 360 feedback feels isolating, leaving them vulnerable in an environment that's more survival test than support network. The work environment at Netflix, while lauded by some as invigorating, is for others anxiety-inducing, and far from the dream job it appears to be on the outside. For those who survive, the experience can be career-defining, placing them in a space where they have unprecedented freedom and decision-making power. But for many, it's a relentless pressure cooker that leaves little room for error or rest. It's like being on a game show where you never know if you'll get the axe, another former employee remarked, hinting at the fear that looms in Netflix's halls, where praise and termination can be two sides of the same coin. The internal struggles don't stop at a person's work product, but also their overall philosophical mindset. In 2021, Dave Chappelle's comedy special was met with public backlash for material some viewers found transphobic. When Netflix defended Chappelle in the name of creative freedom, waves of employee protests, walkouts, and public criticism followed. Netflix's staunch position stirred debates on the thin line between free speech and harmful content, especially as Chappelle's special gained widespread attention. The situation became a flashpoint for Netflix's broader content strategy, but some saw it as a sign that Netflix would rather risk reputational harm than take a stand against controversial content. Netflix's internal response to the Dave Chappelle controversy was marked by a clear divide between corporate leadership and its employees. Netflix executives defended the special, emphasizing a commitment to creative freedom. CEO Ted Sarandos doubled down, stating the company supported diverse voices, including those with controversial views. For some employees, the company's stance felt like a direct dismissal of their concerns about inclusivity, sparking an intense debate on whether Netflix's values of free expression could coexist with a commitment to a safe and supportive workplace. In response to employee unrest, Netflix updated its internal culture memo, explicitly encouraging employees to support the company's content choices or consider other opportunities. While executives framed the change as a call for alignment, many viewed it as an effort to silence dissent within the ranks. Agree or leave. The shift highlighted a growing tension between Netflix's progressive public image and its internal priorities, as employees questioned whether the company's commitment to free speech was coming at the expense of inclusivity and employee well-being. For some, the episode became a turning point, underscoring the reality that, at Netflix, controversial content decisions might outweigh concerns raised from within. But it's not just employees who feel the effects of Netflix's relentless quest to maintain its empire. Viewers are noticing shifts in content quality as well. Netflix's vast volume of original productions has led to criticism that it values quantity over quality, pushing out new shows and films that may not have the same cultural impact as its competitors' more carefully curated offerings. By opting for volume, Netflix has leaned into a strategy of global expansion, ensuring there's something for everyone on its platform. But some argue that this approach risks diluting the brand and reducing its productions to background noise. Behind its immense library of original series and films, Netflix's depth-filled business model reveals a strategy built on high-risk investments. To fund its continuous output of new releases, Netflix has accumulated billions of dollars in debt, relying on constant subscriber growth and retention to stay afloat. For Netflix, the payoff has been enormous, enabling it to pioneer the binge-watch culture and revolutionize entertainment. However, critics worry that this high-stakes strategy is like a house of cards, vulnerable to collapse if the company's subscriber growth ever falters. Adding to the uncertainty, Netflix doesn't share detailed viewership data, making it nearly impossible for outsiders to gauge a show's real success, leaving audiences and investors guessing if some titles are propped up by hype rather than hard numbers. As Netflix continues to work to break into new markets, from Europe to Asia, Netflix has faced accusations of prioritizing American tastes over authentic local stories. In countries like India, where storytelling is deeply connected to tradition and culture, Netflix's perceived Americanized approach to certain content has sparked criticism. Netflix is betting that the sheer volume of content will allow it to fine-tune this approach over time, but the journey toward truly global relevance has been far from smooth. In the face of intensifying competition from streaming giants like Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and HBO Max, Netflix is constantly looking for ways to keep its viewers engaged and satisfied. The company's reliance on algorithmic data to make content decisions means that some shows survive or get canceled based on numbers alone, often leaving devoted fans disappointed when a favorite show ends abruptly. Despite its unmatched catalog and viewer insights, the company's relationship with its audience is becoming increasingly transactional. With prices continuing to rise, subscribers are beginning to wonder whether Netflix's offerings are worth the cost, suggesting the platform may be at risk of losing touch with the viewers it once catered to so well. Then, in 2023, Netflix shocked its loyal subscribers again by cracking down on password sharing, a practice it had tacitly allowed for years. For many, this felt like a sudden betrayal, with Netflix charging extra fees for additional profiles. What had once been a beloved feature suddenly became another way for the company to boost revenue, and the backlash was fierce. This move, along with other controversial business decisions, left subscribers wondering if Netflix's focus on growth had come at the expense of the user experience. As Netflix continues to navigate these turbulent waters, one question looms large. Can it maintain its dominance in the streaming wars? Or are these cracks in its foundation a sign of trouble ahead? With its high-stakes gambles and growing internal tensions, Netflix's future is anything but certain. One thing is clear, the company's story is far from over, and what happens next may be as unpredictable and dramatic as the shows it streams. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to be notified of more stories revealing the truth behind big businesses. Leave a comment if there is a business you'd like us to investigate next.